Look, I know this patch was marginally delayed by an issue I got to experience firsthand and was a 100% necessary fix for your information, but I've got to admit, I'm not used to this sort of rapid turnaround between updates. It's almost like the game is some sort of live service. That context in mind, I'm already in a much better mood to take this content at face value instead of getting the microscope out to analyse how this is gonna ruin the tour. Timberlake was right when he said what goes around comes around. When you put the time, effort and energy into understanding what's lacking in your game, free up your dev team to enable them to make key decisions even at the 11th hour, and actually support that team with more than 50 pence and a packet of crisps, what you get out of it is, unsurprisingly, of much higher consistency and quality. Whilst Update 15 is far from perfect, for one it's lacking in terms of scope, and shouldn't be compared to marquee updates such as Armor 2.0 or Jackets Edition, it is exactly the sort of update that builds up the foundations of any genuinely successful game, doing a lot of the groundwork to assist in onboarding players in a way that's surprisingly engaging even for those more experienced with the game, whilst throwing in a shiny toy to play around with entirely for free as a way to sweeten the deal and convince veterans to bother installing and trying out the update. Let's start this update review by taking a closer look at that onboarding tool masquerading as a new game mode, Smash and Grab. Currently, we have just two heists in this category, Bank Withdrawal, based on No Rest for the Wicked, and Search and Seizure, taking place on Poison Blue. Functionally, these are maps we've seen before, repurposed, scaled down by locking doors or tightening out of bounds zones, and completely redesigned from an objective perspective. This has enabled the team to mostly reuse assets and spawn logic, whilst implementing new core objectives, generally tailored around smoothing out the new player experience, but with some surprising innovations that showcase lessons are certainly being learned by the team. For very new players to the game, these provide relative safe spaces to soak up information. You're unlikely to get lost in the winding interior corridors of either map, you will have objective placements pointed out to you on your UI, and the number of variables you need to deal with will be limited. For example, these heists never have modifiers, making both stealth and loud more accessible without extra dozers or indestructible cameras. In addition to this, they've sped up the gameplay loop in Loud by removing the potentially tedious negotiation phase before the first assault, speeding up cop arrival, shortening waves and advancing those waves at a faster pace, meaning you'll be seeing cloakers and dozers far earlier into the heist than we've become accustomed to. The overall impact is a bite-sized heist experience, despite being generally shorter in length, can be surprisingly action-packed. To make the deal even sweeter for veterans desperate for a fresh experience, they've actually managed to properly innovate in terms of how difficulty scales. Whilst they're implicitly easier due to their shortened duration, and you entering with the same number of resources as you would taking on a heist 4 times their length, the level designers have done their best to throw in some objective curveballs. One of the first times they've ever managed to pull this off effectively. For example, on Bank Withdrawal, when playing on hard or below, you'll need to complete an easy to locate keycard objective before entering the vault immediately without additional resistance. All the loot you need to secure an all bags bonus will be located within that vault, which you can march out of unmasked. But if you ramp things up to very hard or overkill, not only will there be variation in that initial objective, either requiring you to find 4 colour switches or a more hidden keycard that could be in a secure area or even on a guard, you'll then need to locate the manager for a retina scan, just like in the real No Rest for the Wicked. And the difficulty ramping doesn't stop there. Even once inside, you'll notice less loot in the vault, because the rest is in an armoured genset truck waiting in the car park, which, by the way, is a secure area now, despite being public on easier difficulties. This means unless you decide to go loud and grab the thermite here, you need to mask up to move the civilian, making this heist infinitely harder, and in my experience, requiring some serious crowd control. Hell, that in mind, I'm willing to bet this is now one of the toughest solo stealth heists in the game on overkill, with me needing to bait the manager over using throwing knives to even be in with a chance. These are clear signs that the devs are learning and trying to build more RNG and difficulty into these heists. I'm sure it won't be too bad online, and loud gameplay still felt generally easy, but this is still infinitely more depth than I was expecting from this smash and grab concept. I haven't even gotten on to discussing Search and Seizure, which takes place on the DLC heist Boys in Blue, despite not costing to play. This taster of one of the most popular DLC heists in the game is limited to its car park and garage, but they've also completely redesigned its objective format. Now, instead of breaking into a vault for gold and contraband, we're dismantling impounded cars for hidden coke stashes, found within their doors, bonnets, and even tyres, requiring you to raise them up to properly search. I do think this devolves somewhat into just holding F on yellow glowing outlines, and it might have been more practical to teach new players how to drill, for instance, but I still appreciate it trying to do something different. The stealth and loud experience is broadly similar, although spawn RNG is a massive deal in how tough you'll find it to ghost this one. In terms of scaling difficulty, I noticed on normal you'll locate loot packed into fewer cars, reducing the risk of searching more of the map, especially as the cokemobiles will start spawning in the wide open car park on very hard and above. Playing on higher difficulties will also make taking out cams cost additional radios by placing 2 guards in there, meaning you'll need to make a serious choice as to whether you want to bring them down or simply work around them. Additionally, the rewards for completing these heists are more than fair. All loot and overkill will pay out upwards of 1.2k IP, and even the cash reward is up there with heists several times the length. Oh, and there's even some unique dialogue from Shade, giving these narrative significance, seemingly functioning as canonical returns to locations we've hit before in the story. With all that said, I am getting a little overexcited about what could have so easily been a feature from the get-go. As tutorials, they do an okay job. I like them being set in real play spaces, making them much more replicable in general gameplay, but they haven't advanced significantly beyond the scope of the tutorial heists from Payday 2 almost 10 years ago. I believe players are bouncing off the game for a myriad of other reasons these smash and grabs won't solve, but I'm pleased to see they haven't phoned in on their implementation. Instead, I'd say they're conceptually good enough ideas to have earned some proper iteration and experimentation. Go further with them, have variations of Boys in Blue that allow you to enter the police precinct instead of just the car park, turn the space limitation up, and get really creative with the objectives and level design. Repeat this for the remaining heists in the game, giving each a smash and grab or 2, and you have the skeleton of a genuinely interesting and replayable mode with some unique experiences without needing to generate new assets. They could even go a step further by implementing a crime spree style mode that allows you to chain smash and grabs together, upping the challenge and reward as you do so. If they were to lean into the speed and RNG these micro heists excel in, this sort of thing could give the game far greater replayability and effortlessly increase the variation you experience from play session to play session. By no means am I suggesting this should be the sole focus moving forward, but it would be a waste to not at least explore the potential smash and grabs have to offer, much to my surprise. Now, while Smash and Grab has surprised me with its implementation, I can't say the same for the new repeater added to the game, the Marlin or Spearfish 1895. This thing I fully expected to be incredible, and it hasn't disappointed. As only the 4th Marksman Rifle category weapon in the game, it undoubtedly finds a niche from the get-go, acting almost like a more satisfying, precision-orientated shotgun at times, as a result of its unique mechanic making it a hip-fire machine. You see, for whatever ungodly programming reason, bolt-action weapons such as the R700 fire notably faster when shot from the hip, rather than when aiming down sights. This has been carried over to the lever-action Spearfish, although this time it's been turned into a mechanic, or they just decided to pretend it was intentional. Regardless, this thing's fire rate is approximately 2 times as fast when shot from the hip, a massive DPS increase if you have the aim to match. My take is that the hipfire setup, even without the gunslinger skill line, is absolutely the way to go, although don't be afraid to aim down sights when picking shots or fighting off those now dreaded snipers. As such, I like to run it with a scope for when the need arises, and let me tell you, you have a wide range of scopes to choose from, because this weapon has also comfortably got to be the most customizable in the game. This is a massive step up, with some incredibly stylishly designed attachments that for once, although we're still trying to decipher them through these useless bars, can actually change the way they perform. You can lean into more of a fast-paced, rapid reloading hipfire style, or a thought-out, recoil-absorbing hotshot build. This is tremendous, especially for a free weapon. Now they just need a more interesting way to hand them out to you, as opposed to the current uninspired weapon XP system. As for overall performance, this thing is a beast, in my eyes outclassing its Marksman Rifle brethren. with the potential to one-shot shields when paired with the right skills, the ability to land collaterals by default due to its weapon category, and at worst, two-shot kill almost everything else to the body. This weapon rewards accuracy but is also immensely spammable. That's assisted further by its excellent ammo economy, even after update 14, making this the new poster child for ammo funnel, as its single shot reload feels like far less of a burden when you can reload it automatically. Reloading one bullet at a time isn't all bad either, as it makes it excellent for proccing meta skills such as combat reload for increased edge and grit uptime. The only downside I've found is its clear weakness up against dozers, requiring give or take all 8 shots you can load as standard to destroy their faceplate, which is more than long enough for the big guys to chew through multiple armor plates. Consider pairing it with the also free Judge Shotgun added last update if bulldozers are causing you problems. Regardless, the Spearfish is as close to a 10 out of 10 as I can envisage, especially for a free edition. It has top tier animations, as the bullet amusingly gets stuck in the chamber while showcasing your cowboy skills, it's visually stylish, and both mechanically distinct and immensely viable. I'm not sure we can ask for more, especially after the recent weapons drought. Whilst that's the bulk of the update covered, what really makes this the sort of workhorse update that I think Starbreeze desperately needs to churn out more often are its little changes and rebalances responding to recent feedback. Unsurprisingly, they nerfed armor repair kits, fixing all plates of impact armor at once, capping it to 1. Admittedly, it still doesn't seem to be working exactly as intended, as you can see from this gameplay, but it has undoubtedly nerfed the armor setup I said would be king at launch. However, the 4 blue plate tank build is just as good, if not better than ever before, if you want to check out that build guide instead. Keep in mind, soft assets seems to be coded to function like an ARK, so that has also been nerfed on impact armor builds. Dozers are also receiving a small buff, as head flinching shotguns won't stun lock them anymore. They're still far and away the best weapons, especially the ever spammable FSA, but you can no longer trade freely with dozers anymore, putting that bit more pressure on your armor pool and finally knocking shotguns down a peg, even if it's a minuscule fall. In addition, there are quite a few quality of life changes coming to the game, including pre-planning assets no longer being consumed when you restart a heist, meaning you won't go through your entire supply when faced with a challenging stealth run. The ATMs at SCB have finally been fixed to be lootable, and the starting Signature 40 will now be equipped with a silencer as standard, so level 1s don't force themselves loud by accident. The UI has also seen a number of improvements for a more consistent aesthetic, including additions to the in-game HUD, better showcasing downed allies, and detailing specific weapon ammo reserves. I also noticed they've updated the heist loading screen to showcase time and locale information in a more Payday 3 stylized manner, and improve those heist intro sequences in general, giving them a smoother lead into the heist you're about to play if you don't have them skipped by default. And I'm told there might be some new heister facial animations for character dialogue, which I wasn't able to test out solo, but might make for a good laugh with the interaction wheel online. In all, it's an excellent if unassuming update, especially coming so comparatively soon after the last one landed. It lends some credence to the words of management recently, insisting that there is a second wind in Payday 3 yet. It may not set the world on fire, but it is exactly what's required to keep the game ticking over, rather than stagnating. I think it's a statement of intent, and what this represents is almost as important as what it adds. To me, it's been these sorts of bridge updates, maintaining a content cadence you can rely upon, that actually have a chance of turning the game's fortunes around on a more permanent basis, instead of the usual update spike into Ghost Town the following week. Obviously, just one of these is unlikely to move the needle. Habits are built through consistency, and the only thing Starbreeze have been consistent at over the past 18 months is delaying updates. But if they can instead harness these more frequent, polished, and condensed content releases, the trust, and with it, the players, will ultimately follow. Remember, at its core, Payday 3 is still a fun game to play that never went away. It was always its lack of variety, system scope, and technical failings that kept players at bay. Start to see that change, and I'll let the where so backers back into my life. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the update, the very first for Payday 3 without Almir Listo helming the community ship. Take care, and I'll see you all very soon. A huge thank you to my dedicated Patreon backers. If you want to join this crew in going infamous, check out the link below and pledge as little as $2 to see your name in the credits, or get 24-hour early access to future videos and vote on upcoming content. Take care, I'll see you all soon.